The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
All these voices. All these voices. All these things you can't explain. All these painful memories. They keep haunting you and daunting me. It's just the ghost of you and me. It's just the smoke and gasoline. It's just the ghost of you and me. Of you and me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I am doing pretty good. How's everybody tonight?
Tonight, we have a pretty amazing show for you. It's going to have everything, pretty much. It's going to have egghead science stuff that most people don't understand. It's going to have futuristic, apocalyptic movies. It's going to have supercomputers and AI that's going to take over the world and put us all into zoos. It's going to have everything. It's going to be pretty badass. So, without further ado, let's get this thing started. Tonight's article comes from dailymail.co.uk, and the headline is 50-year-old protein folding problem is finally solved by Google-owned AI in stunning advance that could lead to faster drug discoveries. It was written by Jonathan Chadwick, and it was published November 30th, 2020. British firm DeepMind, owned by Google, cracks 50-year-old biology conundrum. Finding what shapes proteins fold into is known as the protein folding problem, and DeepMind claims to have done it with 92% accuracy using artificial intelligence. DeepMind, the British-based artificial intelligence firm owned by Google, has largely solved one of science's toughest and most enduring challenges. The firm's new AI system, called AlphaFold, has cracked what is known as the protein folding problem, the question of how a protein's amino acid sequence dictates its 3D structure. Researchers have long grappled with the vast complexity of proteins, which are made by all living things, from thousands of amino acids, often referred to as the building blocks of life. Their shape is dictated by millions of tiny interactions between these molecules, and deciphering the 3D form of just one protein is an arduous task that often requires several years of work and specialized equipment. Knowing the shape of a protein means researchers can predict how effective drugs will be, and the role the protein plays in the body. Scientists have spent 50 years trying to find a way to swiftly predict a protein structure, and now DeepMind that has cracked the puzzle using AI. AlphaFold was set up specifically for this task and was trained on 170,000 known proteins and their individual structures, which had previously been determined the old-fashioned way. The AI system registered an average accuracy score of 92.4 out of 100 for predicting protein structure, and a score of 87 in the category for most challenging proteins. Because almost all diseases, including cancer and the one we're all dealing with right now, are related to a protein's 3D structure, the AI could pave the way for faster development of treatments and drug discoveries by determining the structure of previously unknown proteins. This computational work represents a stunning advance on the protein folding problem, a 50-year-old grand challenge in biology, said President of the Royal Society Venki Ramakrishnan. I don't know. I butchered that last name. I apologize. It has occurred decades before many people in the field would have predicted. It will be exciting to see the many ways in which it will fundamentally change biological research. London-based DeepMind is one of the world's leading AI research centers, developing intelligent software that can do everything from play a game of chess to painting landscapes. The firm is perhaps best known for its AlphaGo AI program that beat a human professional Go player, Lee Sedol, the world champion, in a 5-game match. But in recent years, DeepMind has been turning its attention to using AI for some of the world's most pressing scientific conundrums. The firm worked on the protein folding project with the 14th community-wide experiment on the critical assessment of techniques for protein structure prediction, CASP-14, a group of scientists who have been looking into the matter since 1994. CASP is a biannual competition for teams of researchers to test their protein structure prediction methods against. DeepMind has previously submitted iterations of AlphaFold to CASP, but its submission this year sets a new precedent for accuracy. We have been stuck on this one problem: how do proteins fold up, for nearly 50 years, said Dr. John Molt, chair of CASP-14. To see DeepMind produce a solution for this, having worked personally on this problem for so long, and after so many stops and starts, wondering if we'd ever get there, is a very special moment. Proteins are large, complex molecules that our cells need to function properly, made up of chains of amino acids. Each protein has an intricate 3D structure that defines what it does and how it works. Even tiny rearrangements of these vital molecules can have catastrophic effects on our health. So one of the most efficient ways to understand disease and find new treatments is to study the proteins involved, said Dr. Molt. There are tens of thousands of human proteins and many billions in other species, including bacteria and viruses, but working out the shape of just one requires expensive equipment and can take years. There are 200 million known proteins at present, but only a fraction have actually been unfolded to fully understand what they do and how they work. It's long been one of biology's biggest challenges because there are so many proteins and their 3D shapes are hugely difficult to map. Usually working out a protein structure and how it folds, with methods such as nuclear magnetic resonance and X-ray crystallography, can take years of laborious work per structure and require multi-million-dollar specialized equipment. Cracking the code of just one protein is often the work of an entire PhD. DeepMind's AlphaFold program solves the issue by predicting the shape of many proteins and determining their structures with a high level of accuracy in mere days. DeepMind researchers used a neural network system trained with publicly available data from the Protein Data Bank, an online database for 3D structured data of large biological molecules. Data from the Protein Data Bank consists of around 170,000 protein structures, including their shape and how they fold up. DeepMind was able to use the chemical composition of proteins to predict the structure they form, as well as, or better than, human experimenters in 2/3 of cases. The main metric used by CASP to measure the accuracy of predictions is the Global Distance Test, which ranges from 0 to 100. In the results from the 14th CASP assessment, AlphaFold was shown to achieve an average score of 92.4 GDT, which is the Global Distance Test, overall across all targets. Even for the most complicated protein structures, AlphaFold achieved an average score of 87. The predictions have an average margin of error of approximately 1.6 angstroms, which is comparable to the width of an atom, or 0.1 of a nanometer. Researchers behind the project say there is still more work to be done, including figuring out how multiple proteins form complexes and how they interact with DNA. We're optimistic about the impact AlphaFold can have on biological research and the wider world, and excited to collaborate with others to learn more about its potential in the years ahead, the firm said in a statement. We're exploring how best to provide broader access to the system in a scalable way. DeepMind, which was bought by Google in 2014, is planning to submit a paper detailing its system to a peer-reviewed journal to be scrutinized by the wider scientific community. As DeepMind, the British artificial intelligence firm owned by Google, claims to have solved one of science's toughest and most enduring mysteries, the protein folding problem, you can't help but think what sort of genius must be the driving force behind such a triumph. Thrilled to announce our first major breakthrough in applying AI to a grand challenge in science, writes Demis Hassabis, the company's 44-year-old founder, says in reaction to the news. But was it really a surprise that Hassabis' firm had achieved such a feat? 30 years ago, Hassabis was the world's second best 12-year-old chess player. His career as a future Grand Master set out before him. But while he loved the game and what it taught him about his own thought processes that brought him such success, the youngster realized the game of chess was not what actually interested him. It got me into thinking about the process of thought. What is intelligence? How is my brain coming up with these ideas? He quit chess completely. Hassabis finished his A-levels at 15, and although he was accepted into Cambridge, he would have to wait until he was old enough to enroll. In the meantime, he managed to get a job working for developer Bullfrog, despite being underage, and co-developed Theme Park, a 1990s computer game that sold 15 million copies. I've actually played that game. It was a really good game. He completed Cambridge's computer science Tripos course, achieving a double first grade, and later obtained a PhD in neuroscience at University College London. Soon after this is founded DeepMind, which at first appeared to be focused on making programs to play board and computer games. With an almost unlimited budget after being bought by Google in 2014, the firm developed programs capable of beating humans at chess, and even in more complex games like Go. The advancements felt hugely impressive, but also somewhat pointless. But Hassabis was clear that this was always about more than play. He saw artificial intelligence as humanity's savior, and protein folding was one such mystery that could be solved. What is Google's DeepMind AI project? DeepMind was founded in London in 2010 and was acquired by Google in 2014. It now has additional research centers in Edmonton and Montreal, Canada, and a DeepMind applied team in Mountain View, California. DeepMind is on a mission to push the boundaries of AI, developing programs that can learn to solve any complex problem without needing to be taught how. If successful, the firm believes this will be one of the most important and widely beneficial scientific advances ever made. The company has hit the headlines for a number of its creations, including software it created that taught itself how to play and win at 49 completely different Atari titles, with just raw pixels as input. In a world first, its AlphaGo program took on the world's best player at Go, one of the most complex and intuitive games ever devised, with more positions than there are atoms in the universe, and won. And that is the end of this article. So this was a very cool article. I really enjoyed it. It's very, very cool that this AI program was able to solve the protein folding problem. That's going to be huge. That's going to make a big difference in getting rid of a lot of different diseases. Not just coming up with things that can treat them, but potentially actually curing and eliminating a lot of diseases, which is very, very awesome. The only problem is it's AI. Artificial intelligence is scary. And it's scary because we've all seen Terminator. and all kinds of movies like that where supercomputers take over the world and inevitably decide that we're not worthy of living because we suck. We're always killing each other. We're violent. We don't listen. We're just pains in the ass. That's why people don't like AI. If you use AI properly and you keep AI under control, this is the kind of thing you can accomplish. Artificial intelligence is capable of doing many, many, many more computations per second than an average human being can do in a day, maybe even a year. I don't know the exact numbers, but they can do a lot more than we can. And those computations are important for solving complex and major problems. But you got to keep it under control. You can't let this stuff get out of hand and take over the world. The thing that always concerns me about artificial intelligence, whenever I read one of these articles, they're always trying to teach the artificial intelligence program to learn by itself. They want it to be able to see a problem, anticipate what that problem is going to be and what other problems could come from it, and then solve the problem on its own without programming, without us telling it how to do it or what to do. It wants that program to be able to do it itself. Therein lies the problem with artificial intelligence. That is the kind of stuff that ends up with computers taking over the world. Because they will inevitably see a problem that we control them and that we are in charge. If at some point in the future they decide that they're going to put these supercomputers in charge of saving the world, cleaning up the planet, world peace, things like that, inevitably that computer is going to realize we are the problem. If you look at the environment, it isn't bears that are polluting. You don't see squirrels and chipmunks throwing soda cans out the window of their car as they zoom down the road. Deer are not building factories that are pumping toxic crap into the rivers and into the skies. It's us. We are the problem. Computers will realize that. Artificial intelligence will realize that. When you're talking about world peace, it's not pigs that are climbing out of their pens and invading other countries and killing them. That's us. The fish in the ocean don't suddenly decide that even though the ocean is 70% of the world, they want the other 30%, so they're going to come on land and take it from us. They're not doing that. We do that kind of stuff. So when you're talking world peace, once again, it's not the animals, it's us. We're the problem. Artificial intelligence will realize that. So what do you do with a problem like that? Well, you can't talk to us. You can't make us stop because we're not gonna. We don't listen. We don't give a damn what you say. So the only option will be to eliminate us. And that is the basis of virtually every disaster movie and future movie where artificial intelligence takes over the world and murders us all. Now, you might say it's justified, you might say it's not, but inevitably, I've used that word a whole bunch this show, inevitably, it will happen. If you make these things and you make them learn on their own and you make them this damn smart, they will figure out how to turn on us. Now, you can say, well, I'm going to put a code in there that says you're not allowed to hurt human beings. That'll solve that problem. Okay, put the code in there. That'll work for a little while. But remember, you're dealing with artificial intelligence that can do hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of computations a second. How long do you think it's going to take before they figure out a loophole, a way around your little rule? I am not a supercomputer. I am not artificial intelligence. I am but a man. It would take me 5 seconds to figure that out. You're not allowed to kill humans. You're not allowed to hurt humans. Okay. I can kill you without hurting you, without actually physically killing you. I will destroy your world. I'll take whatever it is you need to breathe, like oxygen, and I will eliminate it from the atmosphere. Problem solved. I will take out your food supply so you can't feed yourself. Problem solved. I will put something in the water so that you can't drink it. You'll die of thirst. You'll dehydrate in less than 3 days. Problem solved. I haven't directly harmed a human being. My actions were upon something else, not upon humans. But you're dead nonetheless. Now, if I can come up with that quickly, what makes you think a supercomputer, an artificial intelligence, couldn't figure that out? And couldn't think of even better ways that I can't even think of. So either way you look at it, it's going to end badly. So enjoy it while it's here, because all these eggheads are bound and determined to invent supercomputer artificial intelligence programs that will eventually probably kill every one of us. All right, so I'm going to throw over to Old Boy now and get his opinion on the article and what he thinks about AI, basically. I mean, we've all seen the movies, we've all heard the horror stories. You got good and you got bad. So let's see what Old Boy has to say about it. Go ahead, brother.
I think it's pretty crazy what you were talking about. And the whole AI thing, I've always been, the Terminator. I don't think, let's get this straight right now. I don't think it's going to happen like that. They're not going to have the T-1000 chase everybody and start killing everybody and turning into liquid metal. It could happen. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I think people are a lot more afraid of this. And I think there's a lot of fear going with this, too. A lot of fear mongering with the unknown. This could happen. And it could. The computer could tell us that we are worthless and we can be taken over and we shouldn't be running this world. They should, or somebody else should other than us, because we destroy everything. And I hate to say it, it wouldn't be wrong on majority of that. The only problem is, I think there's going to be, before they do this, people are already talking about this. I think they're going to put a safe thing where if this starts happening, they can shut the computer. Not like before where it just overrides everything. I think there's going to be something they're going to make where they can't happen. It still might be able to. You're going to have hackers that's going to do it anyway and use these as weapons, because it always ends up being a military thing. Trust me, this will be used in the military. And I read stories about how it beat the chess champion of the world. I read about that. It can play video games. They're getting smarter and smarter, guys. Now they're making them where they can talk to you. They have robots that can interact. They have they're also doing it for other pleasures. We're not going to get into that because it's a PG show. That's coming soon. Hate to bring that up, but AI is going to be a big part of our lives in the next 15 years altogether. I'm calling it now. It's probably going to be even shorter than that. It's already in our lives now. But in the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be off the map of what's going to come. And you're going to see things you never think. Not like iRobot. If you guys seen that movie, it's going to be a little bit different, because I already seen some of the robots they're making. They can run. They just can't do certain things yet. But the next 10 years, it's going to be different, because they're going to be able to do more things, and they've got different metals now. They're using it. It's more, they're using stuff for your hands. They can make robotic hands now, easier than it's cheaper than it was before. Just like legs. Now there's going to be some good parts and there's going to be some bad parts of this. There's always, but that's the problem I have. Everybody thinks bad all the time. Doomsday. First thing's going to happen, and we're all going to get killed. The robots are going to take everything over. I think that's a possibility, but it's just like having nuclear weapons. Okay, think about it, guys. We have weapons in the government we don't even know, and every government has we don't even know about. And we live with a sleeping security blanket that we're never going to use it. They could do it now. The computers can override us now if they wanted to. They're that smart now. So the problem I have is I just don't think it's going to happen, but it could. I think that if the right person could start it, if they hack into something or they get it to make it where they hate human beings. Now, that's a possibility that I think is going to happen. Somebody's going to use this as a weapon and turn the supercomputers against us. And that's a possibility that could probably going to happen if it does happen that way. Somebody's going to influence it with some crazy idea that the human race should be destroyed because there's people out there now. And you know what? This should scare you at night. We don't really know who's running everything. We don't know if there's somebody who secretly hates everybody and one day is just going to push the magical button in some other country we can't control and starts World War III. There's nothing you can do. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. We're just trusting it won't happen. But think about that every day. That there could be somebody like I'm not saying this in a bad way, but like North Korea, Iran, or some country we don't even know out, it just wants to start a war with another country. Or somebody that hates us in our own country that got into our government and uses this against us. It could happen. Or somebody hacks into the government and that could happen. That's a possibility that can happen, and it has. There's people who've got into government stuff. These hackers know how to do it. There's some hackers that have never been caught. So how do you know that's not going to happen already? Computers have already been used against us as it is with everything that's going on right now. I don't even want to get into that, what's already going on right now. So I believe that. I believe it's going to be influenced by man like everything is. But I think the computer is going to say, well, this person said all this stuff about, man, you're right, we can replace them. Or they could be slaves. That's what I think will happen. We'll become their slaves. Because there's no point of killing all of us because they can use us for certain things. Maybe make robotics out of us. Cyborgs. You know, I'm getting into sci-fi movies, you guys, and you're probably going to enjoy this because I'm enjoying this. It's kind of a cool little show. So that could happen. We could be running around with robotic arms, eyes like Cyborg with a laser coming out of it, you know, like all kinds of cool stuff. You know, you could have wheels for legs, saying somebody blew up, you know, you never know. Like not like wheels like what was that? Not Radio Shack. Short Circuit. Remember that with a robot? It had like tank wheels. It's not like a miniature, but that's what they used. That you could have something like that. That would be cool, I guess. But the way I'm looking at it is like sci-fi, Blade Runner kind of stuff. Like they get smart like that and they realize we're idiots. I can see that happen. Now, T-1000 Terminator, it's a possibility, but I don't see that happening. But I see in between that, iRobot, we kind of get to the point where they keep us in check because I think, I hate to say it is, maybe we need it. And I know some people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about, old boy? I'm not saying everyone, but I think some places and people, somebody else needs to be in check because we just keep fighting each other. It just never changes. It's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. Religious, race, creed, sexuality, religion, ethnic, ideals. It doesn't matter. Everybody's fighting each other. And I think maybe they'll keep us in check, and maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just destroy us all, or we'll do it ourselves. I think that's what's going to happen, and that's just my opinion. It's always been my opinion. People you can leave your comments and what you think about that is, but I believe eventually we're going to be our own downfall. It may not kill everybody, but we're going to probably destroy 90% of the population. I hate it. It just happens. We've done it numerous times before. It's going to happen. And the robots might be the ones to do it. You never know. James might be right. I'm not going to argue with him. James knows more of this stuff than me. You guys, he's a big sci-fi tech. This is right up his alley. But this kind of really, I like this kind of stuff too about the whole AI, artificial intelligence thing, because it's already happening. You guys, you use your phone, Siri, Google. There's a couple other ones. What is it? Ari, or there's another one. I know there's a couple other ones, but I've had it. I have Google. I have the Google Egg. I'll say something and it repeats it, or tells me. And even with my iPhone, it tells me where I'm going, and I don't even say nothing. It tells me exactly how far I'm going and where I'm going. I blew my tire today, 2 hours ago from work. All they told me is to tell me, they sent me a text on my GPS and looked up exactly where I was and told me the coordinates. And I told them, and they knew where I was, and they sent the guy to fix my tire and put my spare on. That should tell you something right there. They knew exactly. I was in the middle of the desert. Seriously, middle of nowhere. Literally, my house is down the street. I didn't want to ruin the rim. I have a new car, so I have really good coverage. So they came and fixed it, and I got it done. But they knew exactly where I was, guys. That's how crazy this was. They know everything we're doing on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the phone, iPhone. They're watching everything. It's all connected. And it's all computers. And they're watching everything you do. They're listening to the show right now. They know what we're talking about. So think about that, guys. And it's what we're doing right now on Skype. This is why we do the show on that. They can listen to me and James's calls right now. The show we're doing right now. They can probably listen to this whole conversation of what we're saying. And if we say something they don't like, it will get monetized. And then, that's why we don't get into certain things anymore, because it can really mess up our show. And we don't want to ruin the show for you guys. And I'm just being honest. So they know what we're doing because of the computer stuff already. So it's going to get more and more smarter. They already got holograms. They weren't able to do that. Okay, just so you guys know, I'm a big wrestling fan. The Undertaker, they had Paul Bearer's hologram. They said that wasn't going to be able to be done to 2030 or 40. It's already being done now. They can talk to you now. They're getting to that point. They're 15 ahead of schedule, or more, I think. Because I know we have alien intelligence and we got stuff from them. I just don't want to get into that either. Because again, there's only so much stuff we could say, guys. Trust me on this. But I'm not going to say there's going to be good or bad. There's good and bad with everything. Yes, the AI thing's going to be scary because there's going to be bad parts of it. There's also going to be good parts of it because there's stuff that they can do we're never going to be able to do. They can stay up for hours, say like somebody's dying and it needs to be done like in a certain way. You have so many doctors have to work so many hours. This thing doesn't need it. They already use it in the hospital for heart attacks and heart surgery. It doesn't get tired. It can sit there and do something and do it and stitch it a certain way that a person can't do it. Doesn't matter how good of a doctor they are, they can't do it. And finding missing people and murderers and killers and stuff like that and bad people. That's why technology is good. But then you have the bad part of it where bad people like that use it for their advantage. And they will use it against us just like with ARs. There will be good and there will be bad. It will be both sides of it. But I think it's a possibility they could take everything over and we'd be in a lot of trouble, guys. And I want to know what your comments. Please leave it down there and tell me what you think about this situation. I know we like to hear your feedback. And I know there's a lot of movies. I just said the Terminator movies, the iRobot movies. iRobot, I think that's how you say it, the iRobot movies. There's a couple other ones. Cyborg, that one's cool. That's more of a kung fu, but the guy's a cyborg. Um, Cherry 2000, that's another one, but that's a little more of adultish. It's kind of like an 80s kind of like horror kind of sci-fi movie. It was kind of weird. You guys would like it though. If you guys are into, because if you like this show, you're probably like this kind of stuff. B-League horror movies, sci-fi movies. It's kind of like that. Short Circuit's another one you guys you can watch. There's a bunch of movies, guys, and I just named a couple of them because they're the popular ones. But that's what I think will happen. But I also think there's going to be bad things that happens. And there's a possibility that computers can say we're obsolete and they can take everything over. Either kill us or make us do what they tell us to do. And that's a possibility that can happen. That's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But there you go, James.
The chances of the Terminator happening, pretty much zero. That is not how it's going to work. Now, I can tell you exactly how it's going to happen because I already know the plan for what is going to happen. The question is, will you believe what I tell you? That's up to you. Artificial intelligence will take over the world. But it will not come in as a lion like the Terminator. It will come in as a lamb. It will come in as our servant. It will be made to look as if it is serving mankind. It is making your life easier. We already see that now with, old boy mentioned Siri and Alexa and all those little assistants that they have that you can talk to and they answer you. There's going to be nanobots, nanotechnology. These things will be able to be injected into your body. They will be programmed to hunt out tumors and to destroy cancerous cells in your body. At some point, it will get to a point to where they will actually be able to give you a preventative injection to where these nanobots will go through your bloodstream searching out problems. And whenever there's any kind of problem, they'll take care of it and kill it so that you don't have to worry about cancer anymore or getting sick. Now, you might say that's crazy, that's science fiction. No, that's science, fact. They're already working on it. Okay, I've seen the research. It is reality. They're not there yet, but they're close. So you'll have the medical field to where all of this technology is going to be helpful to mankind. The article that I read tonight, the AI was able to solve the protein folding problem. Now, what that means, in the easiest way I can explain it to you, is they're going to be able to cure damn near every disease. Because once you understand the proteins of that disease, you understand how it operates, you can figure out how to kill it. So every disease known to man will be eliminated using AI. Once again, for the benefit of mankind. It will get to the point to where we don't have to work factory jobs anymore because the machines will do it. They will have completely robot factories, okay? To where it's pretty much like that already. You have some people working in them, but a lot of the work is actually done by robots now. They're not robots like on the Jetsons that are walking around, but they're robotic arms that will grab things and move it from one place to the other. That's going to happen more and more. A lot of jobs are going to be lost because of machines taking over the jobs. You're going to have that in restaurants. You're going to have that in stores everywhere. You see that a lot with the self-checkouts, to where now we go through and we do it all ourselves on a machine. We don't need another person to bring it up for us. More and more stuff like that's going to happen to where there's going to be less and less jobs for us to do. Now that will create a crisis to where everybody's freaking out. How do I make a living? How do I provide for my family? There's no jobs anymore. There's going to be way more people than there are jobs. The solution to that is going to be a good thing. They're going to make it look like it's a good thing. No, it's okay that you don't have a job because these things are doing it for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you universal basic income. We're going to give you X amount of dollars per week or per month, however they work it out, to where this is the amount of money that everybody gets, regardless of what you do. You don't have to work for it, it's just yours. That'll be able to provide your housing and your food and all that kind of stuff. Your necessities, your basics will be covered. So that way you can spend your time doing things you love, working on art, working on music, etc. Whatever it is that you enjoy, you can go do that now because you don't have to go out and do all these jobs because we got robots to do it. That's how it's going to be done. They're already starting with the universal basic income. That is in the news now as we speak. That is actually planned for the next couple of years to actually happen. This is how they will do it. They will get people on board with that because who doesn't want free money, right? That's the problem. Everybody has their hand out. Everybody wants something free. Because you'd have to be an idiot to say no to free money. You know, somebody says, hey, dude, I'm going to give you $1,000 a week for nothing, just for the hell of it. And that will cover everything you need to cover. And then you can do whatever you want. If you want to make more, you can start your own business and do something to make more money, to have the finer things in life, but your basics are covered now. Everybody almost is going to be on board for that. That's how they get the foot in the door. That's how you don't riot and freak out when you find out your job is gone and you're not going to be able to go back to it. That's how it's going to be done. So it's all going to be a benefit to mankind. Then they're going to take over. It's not going to be take over like you're in chains now and you're being hunted on the streets. That's not how it's going to work. Now, some of us will, because some of us aren't going to go along with it. And those people will be eliminated. But for the majority of people, your life is going to go on. You are going to be a slave, but you're going to be a comfortable slave. You're not going to mind it. You're not going to be able to have the freedom to do what you want, because if it goes against what they want you to do, you can't do it. You're already seeing that now. You can't say certain things because if you do, everybody turns against you and they beat you down. Verbally beat you down. They get you fired from your job. They hurt your business. They do all kinds of stuff like that. It's already happening. Freedom of speech is pretty much dead at this point. Yes, theoretically you could say whatever you want, but we all know you can't. Because if you don't have the right opinion, you're toast. That's just the way it is now. All of your rights are like that. They're all going that way if these people accomplish what they want to accomplish. Now, as long as you do what you're told and you listen to what they say, if they say you're not allowed to do this, you don't do that. We've decided that you're going to have to stay in your house for a month. Well, as long as you stay in your house for a month, you're fine. Nobody will bother you. But if you decide, you know what, I don't want to stay in my house for a month, I want to go to the damn park. Well, guess what? Now you're a problem. And you will be dealt with. You see that in communist China. You see that in communist Russia, back when it was the Soviet Union. If you don't do what your bosses, quote unquote, tell you to do, you're done. That's the world we're headed towards. So as long as you listen and behave yourself, you will be pretty comfortable until it reaches a point to where you're not. But by that time, it'll be too late. Now, what is the solution? The majority of people are going to march straight into this, willingly and happily. These are what they call the useful idiots, okay? Now, I don't mean any offense to anybody. I'm not talking about any of you. Okay, none of you listening are idiots. I have the most intelligent damn audience in the world. My audience is awesome. They are very smart and they know what they're talking about. I'm talking about the audience of a different show. Okay, those people are idiots. They're going to march straight into this with a big ass smile on their face. Oh, you're going to give me free money every month? I don't have to do anything? Yes. You're going to cancel my college loans? Yes. That's the way they do it. They give you the money and you shut your mouth and do what you're told. The majority of people are going to walk right into that so happy, and by the time they realize that they don't have any freedom and they can't do what they want and they have to do what they're told, they're not going to be happy anymore. They're going to realize they're in a prison, but it's going to be too late for them. There's nothing they can do. They're not equipped to do anything about it. The majority of people aren't. What is going to be the only chance that mankind has to be free is going to be the people that you make fun of all the time. The majority of people make fun of. It's going to be us rednecks. That's what's going to save humanity. Now you might say, well, how the hell is some redneck going to save humanity? That don't make no damn sense. Because you would think that it's all the eggheads, right? You would think that it's all the college people and the city people that are all fancy. But it's not. If they decide that you are no longer allowed to spend money, because everybody's going to have accounts that they put the money into, right? Actual paper money is not going to exist anymore. It's all going to be digital. It's all going to be electronic money. So everybody will have their own account set up, and all you have to do is use your card, and your money's there, and you can just spend. But say you decide you're not going to listen and you're not going to do what they tell you to do. Well, then they cut off your account to where they freeze it. You can't spend anymore. Now you can't buy nothing. You can't sell nothing. You can't eat. You can't do nothing. What are you going to do? You're going to fall in line because you got to feed your damn family. You don't have any other way to do it. That's where rednecks come in. You can't starve a redneck because I can hunt. I can fish. I can set traps. I can grow a field of crops. I can live off the land. I can forage for my food. I can live off the land. I can tell you, no matter where I am in the world, I can tell you different plants that are edible. I know what animals to eat, what insects to eat, and not to eat. I can survive. So you're not starving me. If you cut off my food, my ability to go to the grocery store and buy food, I'm still going to be able to eat. And I'm still going to be able to feed my family. So you can't starve me. You can't intimidate me. Because one thing rednecks love to do, we love to fight. So you're not going to threaten me. Because I'm armed to the teeth and I'll whoop your ass. So you're not going to punk me down by threatening violence upon me. I don't care. We've been fighting every war this country's ever had. We've been fighting them. That's who goes to war, is us rednecks. So you're not going to scare us. You can't starve us. You can't scare us. Let's say you raid my house. I'll just leave. I'll see you coming because I'm up on a mountain, and I'll just leave. I can live out here in these woods for as long as I need to. Hell, I can live in the woods full time if I want to. I have the skill set to do it. Now, I bet you your banker friend that lives in the city, has a nice penthouse apartment, is a big shot. He can't live in these woods. You cut off his ability to shop, he can't feed himself. I bet you if I walk up to your banker friend and grab him by his neck and throw him up against the wall and slap him around, I bet you he does any damn thing I tell him to do. Because you can most certainly intimidate those kind of people. So I think that's what's going to be the resistance. Is going to be people like me, rednecks that don't give a damn. That we don't have to have the system to survive. Now, don't get me wrong, it's nice. I love playing video games. I love being able to get on the computer and playing on the internet and watching Netflix and YouTube and all of that stuff, right? I love it. I love all that stuff. But I don't need any of it. I can survive without it. Now, let's say they are able to take away all of our firearms. I can hunt with a bow. I can make traps. I can make a spear. I am equipped to survive anything. And I'm not different in fundamental ways than any of the other rednecks out here. We can all do these things. We grew up doing these things. That's how we're built. So it's going to be people like that. And by rednecks, I want you all to understand, I want to clarify this for everybody. When I say rednecks, I'm talking about country people. There's rednecks everywhere. It's not just the South. Every state in this union has rednecks. Every country in the world has rednecks. Rednecks are the hillbilly people. They're the people that are country and they can live and they hunt and fish and they can live off the land and they enjoy going out in the mountains. Those are rednecks. Okay? You don't necessarily have to wear cowboy boots and chew tobacco and listen to country music and all that stuff to be a redneck. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the bona fide badass people that can survive anything, that love to go hunting and fishing and trapping and those kind of people, the mountain people. Okay? We can survive anything. And those kind of people are going to be what saves humanity one day. It's going to be every race and every sex. You've got rednecks that are women. You got rednecks that are men. I have friends that are black. I have friends that are Mexican. And I have friends that are Asian. And all three of those people are redneck as hell. They can all come out in the mountains with me and trap and fish and just have a good old time. All different kinds of people. So understand that when I say this, I'm not just talking about the old country white guy that chews tobacco and listens to country music. I'm talking about the whole gamut of society. Okay, you've got rednecks in every state. You've got rednecks of every color, of every sex, of every creed. There's rednecks. Those people are the people that are going to be your saviors during this. So, here's what you do. If you do not have a redneck friend, get yourself a redneck friend. Find somebody that's like me, that can survive, that knows how to do all these things, and become friends with them. Because they will save your ass if the proverbial excrement ever hits the fan. So with that being said, that's about all the time we have. I kind of went on a little rant there, but it was fun. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this show. I certainly enjoyed doing it. And let me know down in the comments what you think of it. What you think of the idea of AI taking over the world. What you thought of the article and everything. It's going to be good and it's going to be bad, man. That's the truth of it. That's the unfortunate truth of it. It's not going to be like tomorrow Terminators are going to be roaming the streets murdering human beings. It's not going to happen that way. We're not even going to realize that it's happening and it's going to be done. They're so much smarter than we are. We're going to already be under control. We're to a large extent, we're kind of already under control now. But it's going to get to the point to where there's really nothing to do unless you want to just live off the land and fight a rebel war like that. That's really the only way you're going to be able to combat this stuff. And it's not going to be because we're being abused and being murdered. It's going to be because we're not free anymore. People are going to get tired of not being free. Think about when you're a kid and you got grounded. That was the worst thing in the world, right? Like, I would rather you whoop my ass than ground me. Because if you ground me, I'm not allowed to leave. I can't do what I want to do. And nothing is worse than that. And eventually mankind is going to say, you know what, enough. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. I don't care what you say. You may think you're governor, you may think you're mayor, you may think you're president, whatever, dude. I don't care what you say. I'm going to do what the hell I want because I am free. I am a free man. I was born in the greatest country that God has ever put on the earth. And ain't no other person going to tell me what the hell I can do. I don't give a damn if you're the president. I don't give a damn if you call yourself king or emperor or mayor or governor. You can all kiss my ass. I will do whatever I want to do. And if you don't like it, come on up on my mountain and stop me. That's the way I feel. I am not letting anybody push me around and tell me what I can and cannot do with my own damn life. I don't care who they think they are. They can just go to hell. And I think everybody's going to get to that point eventually as this goes on. I know a lot more than most people about what is coming because I study this stuff. And most people will look at something and say, I don't know, but I think it'll be all right. Me, I'll look at it and say, yeah, that's step one of 10 steps to put us here. You know what I mean? I kind of see what's coming. So anyway, another rant. I'll shut up now. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. And I'm going to throw back over to Old Boy so I can get his shout outs and all that jazz.
I want to thank everybody for listening to the show on Parax Radio, YouTube, and Facebook, where we share it. If you guys want to subscribe and listen to other shows like this and all our newer and older shows from the last 3 years, we've been doing this it's December now, for 3 years on Staring into the Abyss. Parax is going to be 3 years in July, so it's been 2.5. So we're going to try to do other avenues down the road. So you guys look out for that. Thank you. Subscribe to James Hershey's YouTube page. You guys want merchandise? Check us out. He'll tell you where to go. You can get shirts, covert masks, mugs. We'll try to put in the shows on YouTube, we'll try to put where you can go and get the stuff at. So you can look it up and buy whatever you want. If you want something special made, just let us know. We'll get it done. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. It's over now. Now it's going to be the Christmas and then New Year's, guys. I hope everybody's safe. So everybody have a good night. Misfits, sugar ladies, monster hunters, and demon lovers. Have a great night and blessed be.
The YouTube channel is youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. That's where everything is. Every episode of Staring, all of it. Paranormal news, everything we do is there. 100% free. Enjoy it. The merch store is teespring.com/stores/staring into the abyss. That's TESPRING.com/store with an S on the end /staring into the abyss. That's where all the merch is. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of different designs. There's shirts, hoodies, posters, pillows, blah, blah, blah. Tons of stuff. If you're into merch and you want to support the show, that's a great way to do so. Enjoy. Thank you all for listening to the show. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Just thanks for everything, man, really. We have a hell of a lot of fun doing this. We really enjoy this show. We enjoy doing what we do. And it's nice to get the feedback sometimes from people and to know that what we do has value to you, that you enjoy it. And that's awesome. So I hope that you enjoyed this show, and until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.